It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to Musical, Lyrical, Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
and LJ. Today and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us.
That wasn't the second time we did that intro, but don't tell anyone.
That was so funny.
Dear.
So funny. We actually should keep all of those, like, flippers and just have an episode of all your mess
But we don't edit our episodes, so like almost all the blippers are out there for all to see.
I know.
Now, people might be thinking we've made a blooper with this week's episode. So, to all those Queendom fans out there.
Yeah.
Queenies? No, that's not what they're called, is it?
I can't remember.
Queen.
Okay, we'll just get on with that.
I don't know. So we kind of totally teased you at the end of last episode to let you know that we would be doing the wonderful musical 6 this week, and we had our very own queen, which we do.
Yes.
But for the meantime, our queen is waiting patiently in the wings, and we will bring her out when the time is right. We've made it. We've hit the big time, basically, Lauren, haven't we?
Absolutely. The fact that we are in this contractual obligations.
Yeah. So I suppose. Oh my God! I've just seen a magpie outside.
Hello,
Literally.
Mr. Magpie. How's your wife and kids?
Seriously, it's teasing me.
It's okay. Just say them wrong.
Hello, Mr. Magpie. How's your wife and kids? So, anyway, what I was saying before the magpie rudely interrupted me was, in the world of showbiz, there's the green light that we have to wait for. So we thought we had the green light, and then midweek we realised we might need to wait a week or two. So give us three weeks, and we will be able to bring you that episode on 6 and with our fantastic queen. And it really will be worth waiting for, to be honest. But please don't think that we were just teasing you by saying we have recorded the episode. It is fantastic, but we've just got to wait for the nod before we can put it out there.
I love it. Wait for the nod.
Well, it's true.
I know.
I mean, as upsetting as it was midweek, it was also quite exciting. I was like, my goodness, like we have to wait on agents and green lights and production companies and all the rest. I'm like, here.
Yeah,
get
that's
us.
exciting.
I mean, it's not our life, but
we're sort of living through somebody else, aren't we?
Exactly. Yeah. So the 6th episode and our queen is coming, but not just this week.
No, we will let you know. We'll sort of...
And now you know we record in advance.
Yeah.
But what we did do at the end of our 6th episode was give a teaser for the musical we are going to talk about this week.
Yeah, so it might be a wee bit backwards, but it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
So that's really going to confuse you when you actually do hear the 6th episode. You'll be thinking, oh my goodness, we're going back to that musical.
Yeah, it'll be fine. They'll understand. Our listeners are very clever.
They're very good. Absolutely. So, on to this week then. We're going to make it a sweet one, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Sugar.
Butter.
Flour. I love it.
I know. Yeah,
so, good. This week we are looking at the musical Waitress.
We are indeed.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, you really like this week, don't you?
Yeah. It's one of the more... new, modern, in recent years musicals that I've seen a lot.
Oh, okay.
I've seen it 4 times, I think.
That is a lot.
Yeah, and I would go back and see it tomorrow. To be honest, I absolutely love it, as do my friends. So I know there would be 3 very excited people.
3 friends.
That's all I have, Lauren. What do you? You didn't need to highlight it.
I know, but it was what you said. My friends, 3.
Well, I know Mark, Sarah and Kieran will be absolutely chomping at the bit.
Well, that is lovely that you mentioned them.
Yeah. They're the only friends I have. Apart from you.
Oh, I was going to say.
Thanks for being my friend.
Got 4. Go you.
Go me. Do you want to do background?
Yeah. Okay. So, Waitress the Musical is a groundbreaking female-led creative project. Which
First
is
ever
first
Broadway all-female production team.
Score, so music is by Sara Bareilles. Is that how you say it?
Congratulations.
Yay.
Well done.
Book by Jessie Nelson. And it was directed by Diane Paulus. And then actually Lauren Litano, is that right? If I said that right, is the choreographer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually based on the 2007 film. Waitress tells the story of Jenna, a waitress, an expert pie maker, stuck in a bad romance with her husband. She unexpectedly falls for the hot new doctor. Though life gets complicated, but Jenna is able to overcome the challenges with the support of her workmates and finds laughter, love and friendship can provide the perfect recipe for happiness. Yeah, it's quite nice, that.
You sugar-coated that last bit.
I know, but I feel we'll get into it. And, so it premiered in 2015 in Massachusetts. Yeah, then it went to Broadway in 2016 and then moved on to the West End in 2019. And very soon there will be a cinema release of a pro shot on the 11th of December 2023.
Oh, we'll be there. That's
we
really
will be
soon.
there. I know. I know.
That's the next time I'll see this show then.
Yeah.
Happy
So
days.
that actually has Sara Bareilles as Jenna.
Jenna,
She is starring in it. So it was nominated for 4 Tonys and 2 Oliviers, but it didn't win.
No. Do you know why it didn't win?
No, you tell me.
Well, because it was the 2016 Tony Awards, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And what show was also in the 2016 Tony Awards? Hamilton.
Mm-hmm. Hamilton.
And Hamilton wiped the floor of most other...
Okay, well then that makes sense.
In most categories, yeah. Because genuinely I'd be throwing Tonys at Waitress any other year.
You probably would have won something.
Definitely.
But it was only nominated for 4 though.
Yeah, but the 4 that it was nominated for, it's not one of those like shows that you would go and see and it's like, you know, the set is like this grand work of art or, you know, but I think I certainly would have thought any other year, well, it's hard to say, isn't it? Because you don't know what else it would be up against, but it was right up there for best original music, best original score, for sure. And surely Jenna would have been up for, like, best actress. Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah, just another one of those.
Damn Hamilton.
But then I remember that, you know, if we think back to a previous episode where we said about Wicked and how they didn't win, Avenue Q won, but it didn't harm Wicked not winning, and this hasn't harmed Waitress not winning anything, because I really remember that massive buzz in 2019 whenever it was moving over to the West End. Like it 100%. Was, everybody was sort of going, oh my goodness, and who's going to play Jenna? And you know, and anybody that has sort of played Jenna since, it's up there for it to be such a new musical. Yeah, I think it's one of those aspiring roles that females coming through. Yeah. Within the musical theatre world are aiming to play. Yeah. And you know what? Like the ingredients of Waitress, like based on the original. I see what I did there. Oh, I tell you what, such a play with words. Can't speak, but I've got a good play with words. Yeah, you do. Like the ingredients of Waitress based on that original film. Yeah. Like may not instinctively have added up to being perfect musical material. Do you know what I mean? But I actually think with Bareilles and her first foray into theatre, she did a brilliant job with the score. Like I think the music is definitely up there with the musical's best qualities. I think there is like it will last. Like what word am I trying to think of there? You know, there's definitely endure. Yeah, it's not one of these new musicals that's maybe only going to be around for 7 years or something like that. I think we'll probably still be seeing renditions of it, revivals of it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe in 20 years.
Well, that's it. I think they've done the right thing in that it was around for at least 3 or 4 years there, wasn't it? It also had to battle the whole COVID situation, but it's almost like they've now rested it a bit. I know that there was a UK tour last year, but I don't think there's any other plans for... No. Another UK, do you know the way, like, loads of shows, like, do a UK tour, and then, like, a couple of months after that tour finishes, they announce another UK, and it's like, what are you doing? Yeah. It's just been, like, you know, unless it's something like Six.
Yes, where there's a massive demand for it.
You know, like, Six will sell out every time it goes on a UK tour. Yeah. I think they've done the right thing to kind of rest it for maybe a while, but it's nice to hear things like, you know, the pro recording of it being released in cinema, like that'll keep it, you know, relevant.
I'm kind of glad that they are doing that because I think obviously source material was a film first.
It was a dive. The original film. Have you ever seen the original film?
I have seen the original film, and sometimes I quite like those wee indie films where you just have it on like on a Thursday night or something.
It was too indie for me.
Oh, was it?
I was just like, okay. But then I probably went at it from the wrong direction in that I had seen the musical. I love the musical. I love the music in the musical.
So take the music out. You were like, what is this?
And I kept coming to certain bits of the film and I was like, this is when she sings this song. And I'm like, oh, she's not singing.
She's not singing.
So then I think I was underwhelmed by the film.
But I think that's a really interesting point. Whenever you remove the music, this is a really basic story.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But
that has layers. But
that's it. I think that was the issue also. Like, there's so many layers to Jenna's story and to Jenna as a character. I just wasn't getting it. I got that more from the musical than I got from the film, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
But again, and I hate to rattle on about it, I think that was the power of Sara Bareilles' music. I think the way she told Jenna's story through the music is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, her songs are just insane.
They're pretty good.
But for the viewers, I'll put it out there, I'm a huge Sara Bareilles fan anyway.
Yes.
Like, I love her music as a singer-songwriter. So I was, of course, always going to love her music in Waitress. But I don't think I'm seeing it through rose-tinted glasses. I do think, like, I would love her to do another musical. I'd be really interested to see.
Because she's just come off
she did.
Into the Woods.
Yeah, as a performer.
Yeah. And she made that, she was the baker's wife, she made that part really fun and like joyful.
Yeah, and she took a different approach to it, didn't she? And I think I've said it on the podcast, she was the only good thing in that cast recording. I thought I felt let down by that, apart from her. But anyway, I mean, the story is quite insane, isn't it? You know, a baker waitress in an abusive relationship, and then she unexpectedly becomes pregnant through her abusive husband, but then she begins an affair with her gynecologist doctor, Dr. Parmiter.
Yeah, but he's hot.
He's really, yeah. I mean, you understand, don't you? But like any other story, you'd be going, you shouldn't be having an affair, Jenna. Cut it out. That's not how you deal with things. But you're like rooting for her, aren't you?
I know.
Like,
I think. On. Yeah.
But then, come the end, you know, to see her not go off, and this is one of my musical lyrical lingos, to not end up, you know, in a relationship with the doctor.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, good job. Like that brought a different, you know,
feel to
her story.
Yeah.
But the critics were they were impressed with it, but they were mostly impressed with the "She Used to Be Mine" song, which is the show's gut-wrenching emotional climax, and most other, you know, forms of reviews seem to pat Waitress on the head, like assigning it words such as sweet and weightless, which I just can't understand because of the the story that it told.
Yeah.
Audiences, on the other hand, were smitten right from the word go.
I know, and this does happen a lot. Like, critics are there to do a job, but I think it's really important that we don't always take a critic's opinion as ours. You know, you have to go and see something and see it for what you think of it. I can see how a critic would say that when they're watching it.
Fair enough, yeah.
I can see how they got to it, but then I feel like they had no connection to the musical. The musical obviously just didn't inspire them in any way.
Yeah, that's why. And I think being on the other side of things, like being on the production side of shows, I couldn't care less about what the critics say.
Yeah.
In fact, I know companies invite, you know, newspapers or media in as a way of selling their show, which is fine. But if I had my way, I wouldn't have them. I know that other companies invite adjudicators in for awards ceremonies and stuff like that. Again, I don't acknowledge or see the importance of that. Do you know what I mean? It's not why you do shows.
No, and I think
do shows for your audiences and for the people involved.
True, and I think with the world of social media, we don't need critics in the same way that we did to give us our opinion and understanding of a show.
Yeah.
You know, you can see a performer's TikTok or Instagram or whatever platform they choose to use, and you can see backstage stuff. You can see the passion that they have for their characters, and you can see little snippets here and there, maybe on YouTube or whatever, and you get your opinions that way if you aren't able to go and maybe see it straight away. So I think critics were originally there to inform the masses who maybe couldn't get to see it about how they should be feeling about this show. Yeah. And now it's just critics just doing a job because it's always been there. I'm not dissing critics, because I do still think that they have an important role in media and production.
I think they're just a bit too detached now.
Yeah, I think they're not used in the same way as they were whenever they were first around.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's a really good point. I think our executive producer Aaron's a bit of a critic when it comes to this.
Yeah, and he's not here really.
Hence, he got the synopsis of the music and he was like, "Nah, I don't think so."
Yeah. And I will admit, the first time I just listened to the cast recording, I couldn't get into it.
Okay.
And it wasn't that I didn't like Sara's music, because I did. I just couldn't get it. And I think it's one of those musicals, it does need to be seen to understand. Yeah. Because it's the passion and it's the it's what she tells without saying the words. It's her body language, her facial expressions, it's all of those things, and how we actually communicate with people. And you see how much she does not want to be in that relationship anymore. Yeah. And how the baking really helps her. Whenever I was just listening to it, I was like, I'm really bored.
Do you see how calmly I'm sitting here listening to you?
But that's not how I feel about the musical. So I think this is one where you can't just watch you can't just listen
to it. You need to see it.
You need it. Yeah, and there's loads of things out there where you would be able to see it or be able to see snapshots of the performers on TikTok or wherever. Yeah. And I especially I didn't understand whenever I was listening at what she was singing that song about.
Yeah. You need to see it. See the numbers within the context of the show.
You need to see what has gone before it to understand it. Because to me, I was like, this is a lovely, heartbreaking song, but I didn't get it. I didn't understand how emotional and emotive that song can be.
Holy moly.
Until I seen it live being performed. So
rips your heart out and stamps it into the ground. Yeah. He probably feels the same way as I did at the beginning, but it's fine. We forgive him.
Yeah, no, we do forgive him.
We have no other choice. What was I going to say? There was something really we haven't really talked about the London. No. So it as you said, it opened in Broadway in April 2016, starring Jessie Miller as Jenna of Beautiful fame, and we know we love her on this podcast. Imagine we got Jessie Miller.
Don't.
It then did a US national tour, which ran from 2017 to 2019.
That's a long time for a tour, isn't it?
Well, I think it was a massive hit in America. Do you know what I mean? And America's a big place.
Yeah, true.
So it got out to all of those regional, state theatres, I suppose. And then it came to the West End 2019, 2020. And it played in one of my favourite theatres, the Adelphi. Mm-hmm. I love the Adelphi Theatre. I've seen many a good show in that theatre. And then in September 2021, it returned to Broadway with a limited engagement starring Sara Bareilles herself.
Yeah. And that's what you'll see on the 11th of December.
So that's the one that they recorded.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Shall we move on to our musical lyrical lingos?
Yeah, you probably have a lot more than I do.
I think I've gone very deep with my musical lyrical lingos this week.
I don't have any musical lyrical lingos where the lyrics have taught me anything. I think it's more about just the actual musical. I'm
the same. But have you not found that with these more modern musicals, lyrically? Because we're dead smart now as adults.
Maybe that's what it is.
I think it is.
Just older and we know stuff. Yeah, maybe.
I really do think. I think our podcast and the musicals we are looking at truly revolve around when we've seen them.
Yeah, 100%.
The outcome depends on what age we were first introduced to this.
So then I was also kind of looking at this musical, well, what could it teach you?
Yeah, 100%.
So that's kind of how I approach it. So it could teach you that if you're wanting to make a sweet crust pie, that you need sugar, butter, and flour. And if you don't want to make the sweet crust, then you remove the sugar.
Nah, really?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like...
I know.
There's that.
Do you know, I didn't realise the whole pie thing was such a massive business.
In America?
In America.
So big.
Massive.
Yeah.
And some of the pies, I'm going, what?
Yeah, and that's the thing as well, whenever you see the musical, there's little hints at the names of pies.
Yeah.
And some of them aren't very clean. Some of them have innuendos.
Yeah, oh yeah. But I thought there's and that's the other thing, most of this show takes place in a diner, in a pie dinery place. But there's a blackboard and the today special, the special of the day is always written up on the blackboard. Yeah. And it is quite funny, reading some of them, hilarious.
Yeah. That documentary that I watched.
Another one?
No, the one about Broadway and COVID.
Okay, yeah.
There was a guy that was connected to Waitress and he died, and actually they dedicated a pie to him on the top blackboard, where it has all the pies, not the pie of the day. So I think that was really cute. That was really nice.
Deep dish blueberry pie is an actual pie though.
Yeah.
But it's blueberry and bacon. Why would you ever put blueberry and bacon together? That's what's in a deep
because it's sweet and savoury goes together. But I would
never... blueberries and bacon. Would you have thought of that?
Well, no, I wouldn't have thought of it. But think about peanut butter and bacon.
I have never had peanut butter and bacon, Lauren.
What? Peanut butter, bacon and banana.
Okay,
I have definitely made those cupcakes before.
Yeah, I have not.
A devil's food cake on the bottom, and then the frosting is peanut butter, and then there's bacon bits in that, and then banana. I have 1000% made them. I used to make them all the time whenever I baked.
Yeah, you might have made them, but have I ever tried one?
You must have.
I think trust me, I think I'd remember that experience.
Well, that was Elvis. It's called Elvis. It was his favourite thing.
And you've kind of dropped what's that word? You've dropped the baton. No, that's wrong. You've missed out on something here.
What?
Why did you not have those cupcakes made for this episode?
Do you know, I actually wanted to have a pie and all ready for today, and then time just ran away. I was going to have a pie.
You've let me down.
And we were going to eat it. I was going to make one of her pies.
I also think we need to do an episode where we're drinking wine sometime, because I think that could be really hilarious.
Let's do that. Let's have a wine and pie discussing a musical episode. We'll do that as a wee special.
Will you make those cupcakes at some point, though?
Yeah,
because,
100%.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, they sound absolutely revolting.
I know they do sound revolting, but they're delicious.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, because, like, I'm not a baker, so I can't really sit here and...
Yeah, no, and it really works.
But I love peanut butter and I love bacon, but I wouldn't...
And
I love banana, but I would never have thought of putting those three things together.
I know. They're amazing. They're so good. But yet, no, like, America's pie... Like, you go into, like, a diner... Obviously, you've been to America loads. You've go into a diner and there's always, like, pies.
Yeah.
There's always pies of some sort. And they always do look great.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like banana cream pie.
And the pies in the show also look great.
No,
like,
but they're not edible.
Great props going on there, like. But I also love that, certainly in the Adelphi Theatre, when you walked in, as soon as you walked in, you're hit with the aroma of freshly
That's one of my
baked...
fun facts. All the theatres that Waitress has played in, the theatre is filled with small pies and the aromas of the pies.
It really sets the scene. It's a really cool, like, trick they've got going on there. Mm-hmm. One of the things I learnt, or I took away from the show, was that you find your own recipe for happiness.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, Jenna is such a strong, fearless heroine. And her resilience and courage and compassion leads her to, like, rebuild her life on her terms.
Yes. I think that's the important part. But she comes to, and I think I heard somebody say this during the week, like, your friends are there to support you and guide you.
Yeah.
And they'll sometimes know that you will make the decision long before you make the decision, but they're going to help you no matter what decision it is you come to. And she has to, like, they keep saying, you need to leave him, you can raise the baby by yourself and all of this stuff. But it's not until she has that baby in her arms that she goes, I can do this. And they knew that at the beginning that's how it was going to end. Yeah. But they still supported her the whole way through.
The whole way through. Yeah, you're right. One of the lyrics, she sings, and it's down with the recipe and beg from the heart. And that's kind of just like the rule book was written for someone else. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to do you. Yeah,
absolutely. And I've got that too. Just the whole show is about constantly picking yourself up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be major life hurdles that you go through to pick yourself up. But if there's anything that sort of stops you from progressing and you maybe feel like you've been knocked down, you just have to pick yourself back up again. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a major event, but anything, just as long as you keep going.
That's it. And then another thing I learned was you don't need to be perfect.
Yeah, I have that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so... I love the beginning bit because the first song she's singing about her mother and how her mother would have used bacon. So, Jenna and her mother both used bacon as a way to escape the restrictions of their lives. But in the lyrics for what bacon can do, are testament to that. So she sings, make it work, make it easy, make it clever, make it up and surprise them, tell them all my secrets but disguise them. But unlike her mother, Jenna isn't content with just using baking as escapism. For her, baking is an act and one where she's kind of sticking two fingers up to the misogyny in her life through her husband and her boss that's around her. Yeah. And I love that the happy ever after ending in the musical isn't the lavish white wedding. Yeah. Or the romantic falling into the arms of the drop dead gorgeous doctor. It's a fearless, powerful, this is me on my soapbox now, a fearless, powerful single woman realising that she can create her own life and that she doesn't need to adhere to anyone else's idea of perfect.
Yep. Yep, and the whole thing, it's okay to be normal. That's what I think that this musical really sort of is why maybe it resonates with so many people. It is just a very basic story. These type of relationships do happen, unfortunately, all the time. It's just a girl who works an average job. Yeah. And nothing spectacular really happens, as in nobody comes along in a big massive white horse and saves her.
Well, he does, but he's in a white coat, but he doesn't save her.
He doesn't
she saves
save her.
Herself.
No. And I suppose you could say the old man saves her.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah. You know, and probably the ending wouldn't have been exactly the same if it wasn't for him. So there is a man in her life that does save her as such. But I like to think of it as she probably would have got there on a smaller scale. She maybe wouldn't have owned the big massive pie shop. Yeah. But she maybe would have been selling pies more. You know, so I don't think that he necessarily changed her life.
No.
Completely?
No. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. But his words were so wise. Like in his number, Take It From an Old Man, he says, but I believe there's something in you, something you should be seeing too. Because, honey, win or lose, it's one hell of a ride. So it's kind of like life's one hell of a ride. So bring it. Challenge accepted. And I thought that's exactly what she does.
Yeah, I think his song's lovely.
His character, so cleverly written, because he's a grumpy old git. Yeah. The whole way through the show, you don't really pick up much from him other than he's always in the diner or the shop. He's always giving off about something or moaning about something. Yeah. And then in Act 2, he comes into his own and,
No.
Oh God, I love old Joe.
I think he's a very clever character.
Yeah.
We'll probably discuss him a wee bit more, but also, the feeling of becoming somebody different whenever you're a parent, I think, is very evident within it.
Oh, so tell me, because obviously totally over my head.
Well, maybe that's just what I got from it.
But I love it.
But that's what I felt, is that, you know, you have maybe some hobbies and interests that don't, you maybe aren't able to carry out whenever you become a parent, because your life becomes something completely different. Yeah. And you become different. Like the day your child is born, that's the day you become a mother or father. Yeah. Or the day, you know, whether you're adopting, the day that you get that child, it's the day you become a mother and father, whatever your situation is. And I think that it sort of kind of has it on the peripheral, and then it's at the end where you go, oh my goodness, yes. But she is able to use her hobby and obviously continue making pies, but she definitely becomes a completely different person the moment that child is born. She has that strength and she puts her child first, and it's the child that gives her that strength at the end. I think so. Or just that knowing, like, I can only speak as a woman, but childbirth is a very intense process, and you don't believe that you can do it until you've done it, and then really everything else sort of becomes minimal, and you're like, well, so she has to make this big decision, and she doesn't make this big decision until she's holding her baby in her hand and realizing, or her arms, and she goes, I will never love anybody as much as I love this, because in Act 1 he makes her say, you will still love me more than the baby. You know, so the fact that she has that strength to turn around, like whenever she's saying it to him at the beginning, she knows it's not true, but she's able to find that strength from within. And she does. I think even maybe it's just really good actress. But whenever you see the very end, whenever the wee girl's up, her shoulders are back. She's a different character. And you can tell she's become somebody different. And I don't think that's just because she owns the pie shop now. I think it's because she's a mother and she has that strength. She's a mother first and foremost. She's got rid of that arsehole. Yeah. And, you know, she's got the pie shop, which is insignificant in all the rest. But I don't think it's the fact that she's got the pie shop is why her shoulders are back. No. You know, it's because she has become somebody different. And she's proud of that. Like, parenthood is hard. Like, it is. Sure it is. One of the hardest jobs you will ever do, but it's also so rewarding. But if you don't have the right support network with you, it can be very lonely. Yeah. So she has all that in place, and she still can become this really amazing person. She's class. Yeah, she is. She's pretty. Like, it's a beautiful character. Like, and I think it takes a really special actress to play Jenna. Yeah. I think it could be a lot of those elements of her character could be thrown away if you don't have the right actress. Yeah. And I think that they're very clever with their casting to make sure that somebody doesn't just see this as a. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but, you know, like a weak person who is accepting the relationship. Yeah. I think she's strong at the beginning without showing that
Yeah.
she's... I don't know. There's just an element to that subtlety.
There's something there, because you're always, right from the word go, you're just urging her to do what you know she knows she needs to do. Do you know what I mean? It's not, I don't think there's ever a naivety to her. Do you know what I mean? Like, true. You're just willing her to muster up the strength that you know she's got inside her to, you know, to leave that awful relationship. Yeah. So she's never, from the word go, you're met by somebody who is strong, like a strong woman. Yeah, and I think it's just like, you know, do what you need to do, girl. Like, you can do it. You just need to back yourself. Do you know what I mean? But it's not a weakness. Like, never do I think she's a weak
No, never. But also,
character.
Because she's in a job where she doesn't particularly love it. Yeah. That comes across as well. Like, I think whenever you see it, you'll understand what I mean by this girl really betrays, whatever the actress is, really betrays that they are going through the motions of this job. And then they've got to go home. You know, you feel that angst, that annoyance, that I've got to go home. You just feel it all. And I think it's much easier to tell whenever you're watching. And that takes a lot from a really good actress to do. Otherwise, it would become a wee bit hammy. You know, if it wasn't a good actress.
Yeah, of course.
I'm probably not making any sense there.
No, you are. What
I'm trying to say is maybe the critics looked at the role of Jenna and the others and seen it just as this girl. But there's so much more to that.
That's why I could, when I was doing a bit of research, like the last words I would have ever used to describe the musical would have been sweet and weightless. Like, I'm like, what were they watching? I just didn't understand that at all. No. Because it hit me, and I'm a man. Yeah. And I think that says a lot as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have never been more close to wanting to climb up onto stage and knock
Earl out.
Do you know what I mean? And the first time I saw it, I was in the second row.
Right, okay.
So I could have done it if I'd really wanted to. Do you know what I mean? But like, right from the word grow, you were written for her. You knew she was a strong girl. Yeah. She had things in life that weren't ideal, weren't perfect for her, but you were like, come on, girl, you can do it. You know what you need to do. Like, kick him out.
But think if that had been played by somebody who wasn't as talented as an actress and tried to do that as a 100%. I really hope that you know, the pregnancy test is negative, and I really oh no, Earl, don't, you know, it 100%. It would turn the musical on its head a little bit. So I think the creative team probably have done a lot with making sure that person represents the everyman.
And I think the process was kind of still happening. Do you know what I mean? Like, in rehearsal. Do you know what I mean? I think I read interview with Jessie Miller. Okay. And she was kind of saying, oh my goodness, like, it felt at times she was writing these songs for me. Ah, okay. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, so you as an actress were so involved in that process. Do you know what I mean? That she was like, oh God, it could have been a song that Jessie was singing rather than, I hope I interpreted the interview that the right way, but I also love Dawn. I think Dawn's brilliant, and I actually learned a wee bit from Dawn.
Did you?
Yeah, because in her song where she's talking about opening herself up to finding love, I love that song about what if he's like a psychopathic. Yeah. Like, I love, that's one of my favourite songs in the show. But she sings, one of the lines she sings is, what if I give myself away to only get it given back? And for a very long time, see, this is what I mean, I went very deep with this musical.
No, I get
it affected me. For many, many, many years, I didn't pursue dating or trying to find anybody, because I think I was a bit like Dawn. I was a bit petrified of love. Dawn looks away to explain reasons for why she doesn't need to date. And that was me. 100%. I was like, nah, I'm totally happy with me. Like, I'm so busy. I don't need to meet anybody.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That vulnerability that comes across with the process is frightening for her, and it was frightening for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, putting myself out there for the first time, I was like, and put it off for probably a year prior to when I eventually did it. I thought it was quite interesting. When I first saw the show, I was like, oh my God, I'm done.
Yeah. And the fact that she replaces, because people say, does she have like OCD? Like
I don't have OCD though.
No, you don't have OCD. But the fact that replaced that, it's not a void, because you don't need to be with somebody to have a complete life. But I mean, you could tell she wanted somebody.
Yeah.
But she then, everything had to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be done a certain way, was what she put in that hole that was needed for her. And for you just made yourself constantly busy.
Yeah,
so that you then turned around and said, I don't have time.
Well, that's it. And whether it's in dating or applying for a job or opening up to a friend, you kind of give parts of yourself away. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. All the time. Yeah. And it's just, is the reward worth the risk? Yeah. And only you can answer that. And for me, 100%.
Love it.
100%. Love it. But yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm done. Yeah. Like, literally, I was like, okay, this really cute, like with the wee red glasses and the wee bob. I was like, that's me.
You could work in a wee diner. Selling some pies.
I love the bit in the number where she's refilling the ketchup bottles and she's blathering the life because she's totally freaking out about like opening up. Yeah. And then she meets Augie.
I know.
And I want to play Augie. I am a Dawn, but if I could, if my wish list
You were a Dawn.
I was a Dawn, that's right. I'm not a Dawn anymore.
You're not a Dawn anymore.
But if I could be in Waitress, I would want to play Augie because he's just totally insane. Yeah. And I love his songs. Like only Augie could sing a song called I Love You Like a Table.
I know. And you said that would be a good duo for you and me to do.
100%. Now that you know what I'm talking about now. You could totally see it, couldn't you?
100%.
I think we'd play a blinder.
I know, it would be very interesting.
Some wee charity cabaret that the next time one of them comes up, we'll sing that. Okay. I think we'd bring the house down, Lauren.
I think so too. It would be hilarious.
You get it, don't you?
I totally get it. Get it, yeah. That's so funny. No, I know.
I love you like a table.
I love that passion that comes from him as well. And again, that's another thing of, you see this person in the diner and, lifting out the knives and forks. And again, you can see the patterns of how they would work.
They're compatible.
But then they're also very different as well, which obviously you need. But you just are like, that is so cute that just needs to happen.
So cute.
But again, you just see somebody on the surface and until you delve deeper, you understand them.
Yes, because on the surface, he's a bit of a stalker. At the very beginning.
He's not a stalker as such.
He pursued her a lot.
I know, but then did he pursue her a lot, or because she was so negative to like not wanting to open up, she seen it as a negative rather than a positive?
He sings, Dawn, you are never ever getting rid of me.
I know,
like, hello.
But I still think it's sweet.
Oh my God, the two of them are adorable.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I don't think he means it in like
God, no, he's
like
just
stock. I know what you did for breakfast
no,
that type of thing. I think it was just
he knew it was right, so he pursued it.
Yeah.
And she knew it was right too until she couldn't, but she just resisted it until she couldn't resist it anymore.
I know.
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
All been there. So, yeah, I mean, deep. Like, those were probably the deepest musical lyrical lingos I've had.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was because we're approaching it slightly differently. With it being a newer musical, we were looking at the musical as a whole, when you watch it. And
I think the fact I've watched it 4 times.
Yeah, that's a lot. For a new musical, that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because that's been around that long.
Do you have any other musical lyrical lingos before we move on to our connections?
No, I think the main one is do the decisions that are right for you and never settle.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing that I learned from it.
No, that's it. You got to do you.
Yeah.
And back you. Back yourself.
And back you. And no matter how supportive your partner, your other half is, you need to come to the decisions. Yeah. You know, for
well, that's
yourself.
it, because she's, like, Jenna always had Dawn and... Oh my goodness, I've forgotten the other waitress friend's name. Like, Jenna always had her two mates there the whole time supporting her, but only she could do what she needed to do. Do you know what I mean? Only she could have the strength within her to do what she did.
Yeah.
So she had great friends from the word go, and it's good to have those friends, but you have to...
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how supportive other people are with you. If you can't make that decision for yourself, then... You know, because sometimes you can make a decision. If somebody tells you to do something, you can do it. You know, if somebody says, I have the belief in you to do it, you can go ahead and do something, but you're probably not going to give it 100% because you don't believe it in yourself. And until you have that fire, then that's whenever you're going to soar and survive and thrive and all of that stuff.
No, 100%.
I got to ask you, what do you think of the contraction ballet?
Okay, so for anybody who hasn't seen the musical, listen to the soundtrack, and it's just an instrumental piece, and it basically stimulates, I presume, the whole idea of contractions. There's lots of, it's basically breathing, isn't it? There's a lot of breath going on in a musical kind of way.
She's having her contractions. She's in labour. Yeah.
There you go. I mean, I thought, it didn't offend me. I thought it was quite interesting. I didn't get it when I listened to it, and then I saw it on stage, and I was like, the way they staged it as a choreographer, I was like, oh, that's really lovely.
I hated it.
Okay.
I hated it.
I just glanced over at your book at the beginning of the podcast, and all I saw was contraction ballet ? And I was like, oh, I can't wait till Lauren gets onto that.
Yeah, again,
not needed.
Whenever you're listening to it, you're like, oh, it's just a little piece of music. Whenever... I think it goes back to all the parts are real and there's no hamming of it. And then this ballet happens and I'm like, why are we in Oklahoma?
You have a real issue with things like that, don't you?
I don't
feel
mind.
Like we're going back to the Mother and Billy Elliot as well.
Yeah. I feel like whenever we are doing a play that is real life, it's not real life. It is more real than...
It's real and gritty for the majority of it.
Why are we... I understand it's a musical and I love musicals and I love musical theatre world and I love to be submersed into that and I can do that. I'm in a different place. But whenever you're presenting for like 2 hours that you are real and this is a diner and you serve the same people every day, why? Like that's not real life. Yeah. But I understand bursting into song isn't real life. Yeah. But to me those songs are just what people are saying in their heads, so I think musical theatre that way.
You have this time round, Lauren. You have a valid point. Okay. I don't think you need it. Maybe. I think it acts as a bridge, maybe from one scene into the next. I suppose. To
me, it's throwing a typical musical theatre element into a musical to make it more musical theatre.
Yeah. Well,
it doesn't need it.
But how would you have gone from
her as if she's having her contractions how she is, and then a simple turn around and change of seat, like it can be easily done. It doesn't need the ballet.
I think that's maybe why they put it in to bridge her having a child.
But I just don't feel it adds anything to it.
That's absolutely fine.
Okay, thank you for accepting my...
It didn't annoy me, but I also, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. In that if you were to take the soundtrack and remove something from it, that would probably be what I would remove as well. Yeah. And I think it felt very... it annoyed me that everybody was doing the same moves. Yeah. Because... labour's not the same for everybody. Of course, yeah. So I think if they were trying to, I don't know, visually show people in labour,
not, if you walked into a hospital, not everybody's going to be screaming the same way or doing so. I understand it's musical theatre. I get it. I get it. I don't want somebody coming back and be like, you're doing a whole podcast on musical theatre and you talked about such and such. I kind of was a bit disappointed with that part. I was like, I think it could have been better.
That's fair enough. Because, and it kind of links in. Before seeing the show, I didn't know if I would like the show. Okay. Because one of the biggest things I love about going to see a piece of musical theatre is like the dancing and the showbiz of it, right? And it's not that. No. And I had seen enough through publicity. I'd listened to the soundtrack. I knew that there weren't big, like massive, like musical dance numbers. And I genuinely love that part of a show. Like I love a big dance number. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to be for me. You know how I feel about straight plays. Yeah. I'm not like, it would take an awful lot for me to go to the theatre and see a straight play. I kind of was like, this is one of these like straight plays with music kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Before having seen it. But I did love it. The other thing that, talking about cutting songs, from the musical, they cut a really beautiful song of Dr. Palmater's.
Oh, really?
Now, I kind of get it in that Waitress is Jenna's story. Yeah. So I totally get why they didn't give the romantic lead a big, lovely ballad, but it was a really lovely song. I'm trying to look up, you see, if our executive producer was here today, he would have been able to look up the song. Where is it? I can't remember the name of it, but Dr. Palmater is supposed to...
Right, have a song?
He did in the original drafts of the show. He did have it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Sara Bareilles, like, I think one of her albums was her singing, What's Inside, the songs from Waitress. She did a 2015 album. I think she put it into that. So I'm just looking it up to see if it's in. No, it's
not.
No, I'll have to find the name of the song because it is beautiful. Like, it's really... Jeremy Jordan, when he was in Waitress in Broadway, he recorded it.
Oh, did he?
Just for, like, I think the Waitress socials or whatever. I was like, wow, beautiful song.
Interpretation of the Doctor. Yeah, I like it. Or his portrayal of it. Yeah, it's good.
But beautiful song. I get why they didn't put it into the musical, but it's such a beautiful song to have cut. Yeah. Just when we talked about cutting a song there,
cutting
I was
stuff.
like, that lovely song they did cut.
And don't get me wrong, Contraction Ballet doesn't go on for too long. Do you know what I mean? I think if it was like a 15-minute piece, I would be like, shit me now.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, you've ruined it.
Yes.
It's short, it's sweet, it's
not your 10-minute Oklahoma ballet then.
You know.
Which, to be fair, I did say I would reduce.
Yeah, exactly. I just didn't think it was needed. And that's the only part of it when watching it. I was like, are you being serious?
Yeah.
Did they just put that in? This musical theatre thing is in this play? I said play. Isn't that really interesting?
Yeah.
I must see it more as a play then.
Well, I think it kind of is, isn't it? In a way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Connections then?
I have seen it 4 times, so I have lots of connections to the show, and I love it very much. So the first time I saw it, I went on a whim. Like, it was one of my, London trips where...
you see 50,000 shows.
Exactly. I'm like, so my London trips revolve around how many shows can I see in 3 days?
Was this the one that you seen like 3 shows in one day? No. Was that trip?
It could well have been. Yeah, I mean, like, I remember leaving 6, which did an early evening performance, like a 5 o'clock jobby, and literally running round the corner just to get into Dear Evan Hansen just in time.
Yeah.
I think that was me living my best life.
I can just imagine you doing that.
Oh my God, I loved it.
I think I would have got a voice note or something from you, because I also have that image in my head where you were like, oh no, because did you say something like, oh no, I can't watch 6? And they were like, oh, it's only an hour and such and such. You go, I can watch 6.
Yeah, I did. Well, yeah. Because I went, oh, I'm not going to be able to squeeze 6 in. And then I went, I'm going to be able to squeeze 6 in. There's a 5 o'clock showing and it's a 1-act show. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw it was when I was in the second row. Lovely, cheapy. I literally think my ticket was 20 quid.
Amazing. Love when
And
that happens.
I saw the wonderful Lucy Jones on stage for the very first time.
She plays that role really well.
Holy moly. I'm putting it out there that until I saw a certain other person playing it, she was the best Jenna there is. Like, she ripped my heart out and threw it at me. Unbelievable. Then I went back to London with my 3 crazy waitress friends that I've already spoken about. And we saw Sara Bareilles.
Oh, did you actually
play
see her?
And that was the reason why we went. So I'm a Sara Bareilles fan. My friend Mark is an even bigger fan multiplied by 1,000.
Okay.
And what was even cooler was we were walking down the street the day before we were going to see Waitress, and we walked past Sara Bareilles.
Did you stop?
Yes, because we were walking, right? And she was looking in through the window at London has that really cool theatre cafe.
Oh,
Have you ever
yeah.
It's
No, I haven't
brilliant.
been to it,
Like,
but
it's
yeah.
really cool. Maybe they could sponsor us now that we've given them a wee shout out in the podcast. So she was looking through the window, and I kind of did a double take, going, "Is that Sara Bareilles?" And I said it out. I was thinking it, and I must have said it out loud, which then made Mark stop.
Okay.
Like, in his tracks, and like turn round, and lo and behold, it was Sara Bareilles with her mummy. And then she spoke to us.
No.
Yeah. Well, because we clearly made such a big fuss. Well, no, I think it was just the fact that 4 people all of a sudden stopped and turned on their heels.
Okay.
And we're kind of looking at this poor woman going, is it? Is it not? Because, like, I think she had like a wee beanie hat on and like one of those scarves that goes round because it was cold. Not that because she wasn't being a diva, which we'll get on to in the next episode. And so she talked to us, and we were like, "We're here to see you. We're coming," like proper musical theatre fans. "We're coming to see you tomorrow night." She was like, "Oh my goodness, make sure you come to stage door and say hello." And we were like, "Oh my goodness." So that was that. We went to the Alchemist, great cocktail bar. Maybe they'll sponsor us now. We've given them a shout out.
Just going to say anything else.
And literally, Mark didn't speak for about 10 minutes. He was just dumbfounded. He was like, We've just met Sara Bareilles. It was really cool. Like, so then the following night when we did go and see the show, I'm not a big fan of stage door, and I don't tend to do it because I'm like,
makes you feel a wee bit funny, doesn't it?
Yeah, sometimes. But we stage door, and she remembered us. She went, "My friend's from Ireland." I was like, oh my goodness.
I love it. Oh, how sweet.
It was great. Oh, she was gorgeous. Like, lovely girl. Really lovely.
Oh, that's so nice.
In that same production, we saw, like, the Broadway legend that is Gavin Creel. Like, I love Gavin Creel. I have, like, followed all of his stuff from Thoroughly Modern Millie the whole way through. Like, I just think he's awesome. And he came over with her to play Dr. Palmater.
That's nice.
Yeah, so to see the 2 of them on stage together was class.
Okay.
And then I went another time, but I can't overly remember.
It was?
Other than I just know I wasn't impressed with the Dr. Palmater because he was a bit pants. And then the 4th time, the same said group, we did a road trip to Dublin to see the UK and Ireland tour of Waitress again, and it was very good.
Lovely.
So that's my Waitress.
Yeah. Well,
links.
You have.
I mean, meeting Sara Bareilles was pretty awesome.
I know that is pretty cool.
Class.
Wow. Yeah. No, that role has to be played by somebody magnificent, and
she is brilliant at it.
Pretty good. And
Lucy
Sarah
is stunning, but I can't say Lucy's the best Jenna I've ever seen. And when you then see Sara Bareilles, do you know what I mean?
So
like,
that actually makes me really excited then to see
I
the film.
I can't wait for you. We should maybe go.
Yeah. Maybe I could tag along with your waitress friends.
I said this, maybe we should go, and I'm like going,
oh no, I have to go.
If I don't go with Mark, Sarah and Kieran, like, they will actually not want to be my friend
anymore.
Maybe
I could just tag along. Like, I don't even have to sit in the same row. I can sit behind
come join the like waitress posse. Yeah. We need to give ourselves like a wee fan name, because we literally are
like a pie name?
A pie name? Deep shit dish blueberry pie, isn't that what they call it in the show?
Love it.
What do you think of, like, because there's an element of star casting there, isn't there? With Sara Bareilles going into her own show. Is that okay?
I think that's okay. I think if she wasn't as talented as she was, it would be... Because some people can do and some people can't, you know.
But then when it opened in London, didn't somebody from, like, Third Rock to the Sun or something, like some show, like some really famous like comic show that I've never watched before, like some American person went into it.
Who are you talking about?
Third Rock from the Sun
went into the role as Jenna.
No, went in as Ogie. He went in as Ogie. Augie. Oh, I keep saying Ogie. Augie.
Oh really?
You see, Aaron, where is Aaron?
I know,
he needs to be here to do all this fact checking.
In the 2019 cast.
When it came to London,
it
came with somebody big namey person. Jack McBrayer.
Oh, him. Yeah, he's fab.
He in? Yeah, what's he been
30
in?
Rock.
30 Rock.
Third Rock from the Sun was whenever we were younger.
But that's what I'm saying. I didn't know him or the show that he was in, but I knew that there was a big, massive, ooh, this person's in it.
No, he's great. Like, he is great. He's also a really good, like, voice actor, and he is in, like, Wreck-It Ralph and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, he's fab.
Well, he went down a storm when he opened as Augie in London, like.
And also, do you know who I've seen little snippets of, and they're pretty good? Jenna, Catherine McPhee.
I knew you were going to say that. So
right. Oh, do you have a?
No, just so Kieran adores Catherine McPhee.
Okay.
I always have this running joke of she's the lesser of the Jennas.
Oh, okay.
Because Lucy's better, in my opinion, and Kieran doesn't like it. Because he's like, no, Catherine McPhee's amazing, but he just fancies her, basically.
Oh. No, I think she's good. I've seen some snips of her.
Oh, no, she's good.
And she...
I can't believe you're making me say this live on a podcast when I've spent, years going, nah, she's rubbish.
But that was a bit of star casting.
Well, of course, yeah. No, there is an element of, and I think that's kept it relevant as well, and, for the run it's had. Because didn't Joe Sugg, randomly go into it
but he's
in
not
London?
Bad. I've seen
but he was good too. Yeah. I saw him, I think.
Did you? Yeah, no, he was good. Is
that the one that the third time that I can't remember?
Could be.
I think that was, because I definitely saw him.
I thought
and he was good.
He played it well because he brought more of an innocence to the role.
Yeah, because he was a younger Augie, wasn't he?
Yeah. So
very good.
Yeah, we've kind of dissected and split up that pie pretty well.
And do you know who else a big name hitter? However, she wasn't a big name when she appeared in it in Broadway.
Who you're hopefully going to see? Oh no, I'm thinking of somebody else.
Who do you think
I was thinking of a bushel and a peck.
Oh my!
Marisha
Wallace. Yeah, she was class.
Yeah.
No,
but you're thinking, sorry, the original.
Her that character that I can't remember the name of. Is it Becky? Becky. Jenna, Dawn, and Becky. I think that's it.
Well done.
Aaron.
I know.
You see, it's not good.
It is Becky. Well done.
Well done, me. So the original Becky was Kiela Seattle.
Yep.
I can never say that woman's name.
Seattle, yeah.
Who then went on to become quite big when she appeared in The Greatest Showman as the bearded lady.
Yeah.
And sang that, "This is me."
Yeah.
But nobody, she was Waitress before she became bearded lady.
I know, and she wasn't even going to get the role of bearded lady. She was just singing that, and then whenever they seen her perform, they were like, "Yes, okay, you can continue."
I did not know that.
Yeah, well, we save that for our Greatest Showman episode, but
it's not a musical though. I'm afraid it hasn't been on stage.
Oh, are we not going to do film musicals?
Are we? Stage? Oh, maybe. Well, if we're doing a wee special episode there of musicals that are film musicals but have never made it to the stage, then I'm all for that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Very good. Excellent. Do you have any... Here.
What?
Do you know the story of the original film writer?
Yeah, who was murdered?
Isn't that awful?
I know, I feel like it shouldn't really be...
Adrienne Shelley.
Yes. So she didn't even see it go to film festivals or anything like that. Yeah, very strange.
Isn't it so sad that in the world, that we're talking about, musicals and film and stuff, that happens?
I know.
Like, there's been a couple of episodes where, like, tragic things like that have happened.
It's just life, like, isn't it?
Oh, but, like, being murdered by your partner before your film, like, is released, that's a lot.
It is. It is a lot. Yeah, it's sad.
Sad.
I did think that. But here, did you know that the actresses are taught actually how to make pies?
Oh, really?
Yeah, just so, for Jenna particularly, so that whenever she's rolling or anything like that, it kind of looks
It's
like
legit.
she knows what she's doing, because a lot of the time she's singing songs and she should be doing stuff that comes second nature.
Like, talk about multitasking.
Yeah, so she's actually taught how to, maybe, I don't know, maybe she could go on and make a really delicious pie, but she's taught those basics.
That's class. And do they use real flour and stuff like that,
Yeah,
I presume?
real flour.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I think the pies are like nutmeg and something like that, but they're not edible. There's something
Okay.
else in it. But it took in 145,000 in its first weekend.
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah, it kind of
I think that's before it was on Broadway.
Ticket sales were so strong that the production recouped its initial investment in under a year.
It's crazy,
Good going,
isn't
isn't it? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
For a show that, didn't walk away with any awards.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's still...
I know, it's still massive.
recouped its,
No, it was pretty cool. Any
Outgoings.
standing ovations?
I've just put Ogie and Dawn. I love that relationship. She used to be mine. Every word of that song is just sublime, especially if you've got someone like Sara Bareilles or Lucy Jones singing it. Okay, Catherine McPhee did a good job too. But I just think the show in general, I think it's a really like, I think there's so much in it that I don't get tired of seeing it again and again. Yeah. Whereas I've said to you about Wicked, I've seen it a couple of times, but I'm ready now not to see Wicked for a while. Do you know what I mean? Whereas there's still something that draws me back to Waitress, that I would happily see it again and
that's
again.
interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but I think it's really, for me, it's a really special show, I think.
Yeah, that's
What about you?
The Old Man Joe
Oh,
is my standing ovation. And I think because of the way the character's written, it is somebody that's maybe more in the background. And then they become a massive part. And I think, again, it kind of gives you that, don't take people for granted, and first impressions aren't always everything. And I think he's a really good character that maybe isn't praised enough within the role.
And I think
the show.
I might be wrong, but the part of Old Man Joe, at some point in Broadway with the cast change, Old Man Joe was actually played by a well-known actress.
Oh, right, okay.
And they just changed it.
Some of them. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, I think I remember reading that somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that was a nice, sweet episode.
Sweet and precise and...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really like it. I'm ready for a pie now.
I know.
Shame you didn't do that bacon.
I know, but maybe I'll get some time to do some bacon. I will make those cupcakes
When will
for
you get time to do bacon? Are you joking me?
That's the
You're
thing,
the most busy person I know.
See, before kids, I used to bake all the time.
Yeah.
I used to make everything. And now I just don't. But, maybe that'll change whenever there's less stuff and more room and more time.
Who knows? Well, shall we move on to next week then?
I know, I'd like...
It's not 6.
It's not 6, no. But are we going to give a clue? Just in case we need to slot another.
I know. I mean, maybe we should just sack off the clues at the end of episodes now, just in case, we don't get green lights again.
You just trust us that we'll be talking about another musical?
No, we'll continue to do the clues. I think we can certainly squeeze in a couple of episodes before we can drop our sixth episode.
I think so.
What do you have?
You mentioned earlier that you'll be looking... You maybe hope you didn't see this show through rose-tinted glasses.
Oh, nice. I like that. Rose-tinted glasses. And we will be on the topic of stage mothers, which we know an awful lot about, don't we?
We do.
I might even show a wee bit of a shoulder as well. Might just... That's
seductive.
A terrible clue there.
I know, like...
That last one, just edit that one out. She won't, but yeah. It'll all make sense.
Hopefully, it'll all make sense.
Ish. Until next week.
Bye.
Bye.